guys, it's Yvonne from GingerChickRehab, and yes, I am here with Frosty today. Now, if you all saw my thrift haul a little while ago, yes, I thrifted this metal snowman for $3.09 at my local Goodwill. So in today's video, I am doing my front porch for Christmas finally. I know, everybody does it so early here on YouTube. I just can't believe it. So anyway, I'm getting ready to do my front porch, and I have some thrift store finds that I want to make over and put on my front porch because yes, cost efficient, and I love crafting and doing a homemade, handmade Christmas. Yes, repurposing stuff is what I love to do. So do you all look at the Christmas section? Because they are out. Oh my gosh, many aisles in the thrift stores right now have a ton of Christmas out. I don't know, do they hoard it all year long and then wait to put it closer to the season? I'm really not sure. But I was super excited to run across some of these pieces that I thought that I could make. That's the little Frosty here. Just Santa, oh my goodness, I love it. Opens up, I don't have any grandkids and my kids are in their 20s, but sometimes you take what you can get when you can find it, and yes, so I thought it was too cute. So do you all have a color scheme? And you know, if you are a regular viewer of our channel, yep, my color scheme always has a lot to do with black. So I'm just taking this new aged galvanized mailbox for Santa's letters and just spray painting it black. $5.09, look at this big Mary. Oh my goodness, what a statement piece this is. There's definitely something about a big lettered, oh my gosh, I just fell in love with this Mary as soon as I saw it. I knew that it was something I wanted to keep for myself and use this year. And then I have a set of these stars. Oh, I love stars, even though they're beautiful as is, they're not quite the red that I decorate with. So yes, so they were individually priced at $3.09, $4.09, and $5.09. Yep, you guessed it. These are going to be black too, and I definitely loved running across how they have that embossing in them, and it was a set of 3. This was a Target clearance for $4.49 in one of the Hand and Hearth line. Definitely want to make up a new, I wanted to make up a new wreath anyway. Mine's a little bit old and probably recycled a few years, and it was probably thrifted to begin with. So I'm super excited to take this apart and make it into a Christmas wreath. This is the first time I ran across one of these wires like this. Usually it's a full wreath wire, so that's what attracted me to this. Even though I'm going to be taking all this burgundy eucalyptus off, I really just wanted this wire. I think this is the fun of making your own Christmas decorations or thrifting them. Look at this. I was able to thrift this set of greenery for less than $5. So very cost efficient, because we all know even at a Hobby Lobby's 50% off, it still can be pricey. So I'm just picking apart the pieces that I want, and oh yeah, I want this piece. I ended up keeping 2 different stems, the cedar and then these long pine tree, but now they have some spiky stems on the bottom of it that were used to put into the foam, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull those off. And a bonus with these is that the entire stem is wired, so it is definitely moldable towards this round circle. So all I'm going to be doing here is just making them more of the shape so they can bend towards the round. And then I'm going to be doing every other one. So starting off at one of my points, and I can shift it. It's not supposed to fill up the entire wreath. I'm good with that. But yes, I'm just going to go ahead and do every other one and just use some floral wire from the Dollar Tree store to attach it. So now I really like sets of 3. So I'm going to go ahead and add in these green stems that I had bought a few years ago off of Amazon. I still have a few left, and I don't need many, just to add a little bit more visual interest into this wreath. So I'm just cutting off that. It has a really long wire, and then I'll be taking that floral wire and wrapping it around and securing them to the wreath also. After giving everything a tight squeeze, making sure that it's the shape of what the wire is, and then I cut off any of those extra little ones that were kind of poking out in the middle of the frame. So every year I like to find a new ribbon, I like to have kind of a color scheme that goes along our front porch. And I just happened to run across this beautiful ribbon at the Home Depot. And I absolutely love wired ribbon because look at how you can just shape it and it just looks so full. Just a simple bow can look so full. But I won't cut my tails until I hang it onto my door so I can see how I want it to hang. Now I did make sure that all the items that I spray painted black, I did seal in with a coat of polycrylic, trying to help them stay outdoor safe. They're on a covered porch, so we should be good because I'd either like to use them year to year or next year when I change my ideas of what I want to do, I can always resell them in my booth. Now Frosty here was a little bit more work, as even for the $309 price tag, which I was snapping him up and getting him into my cart as fast as I could, but he's got a little bit of rust on him. He's metal. I know I am going to need to sand some of that metal down, so I know it wasn't going to be just a spray paint and get him into my decor, so he's going to need a little bit more work than those other pieces. So all I'm doing here is just trying to, I have 80 grit on my little mouse sander, and I'm just trying to sand as much of that rust off that I can. After I was happy with how much of the rust that I got removed, trying to just make it as flat as I could. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go ahead and protect his smile, his nose, his face, and his 3 little buttons, just using some masking tape and cutting it around with a X-Acto knife. And I'm going to get them all cleaned up using just some Superclean and some hot water. And as you see, nope, I did not take it down to the bare metal at all. I just really kept sanding until it was flat to the touch. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to use some of the shellac. And I have good luck with metals and shellac. So I'm going to go in with 4 coats and letting it dry in between. 2 is just never enough. 3 is even better, but just in case I missed a spot here or there, I'm going in with a 4th one. Now, since I have the good coating of shellac on, I'm just going in and I'm liking right now for the metals this Farm Rust-Oleum brand that I've been getting at the Menards store. So I am, because I already have that sealed in with that shellac, I'm going straight in with the white. And look how well this white is covering with that undercoat of shellac. I will share with you, I let the shellac dry overnight before applying the white, then I let the white dry overnight. So this was a multiple day process, and then now I'm going in and painting Frosty's top hat. It's got a lot of scratches, it's got a lot of wear. I did give it 1 coat of the white. I'm not even sure why. I was in the process of spraying and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be painting that black, so just stop. You know, you're in the process of something. My plan was to paint Frosty's hat black and then go back in and hand paint the little flower, but I absolutely loved it just as it is. So when I started this process, I had no plans of painting a sled. Yep, turn your head, look away if you are not a fan of painting what you consider vintage sleds. Now, actually, this is one that I had in a thrift haul that I had thrifted. I went to sell it in my retail booth, and you know, both of my kids work there. And blue ones do not sell. The other red one I had already sold, and I actually, in my own Christmas decor, had a red metalled one that I actually traded for this one. So my red one is now for sale in my booth because the other one had already sold. And then, yep, I'm going in. And did you see how much I taped off all that wood so I did not spray paint that wood? Yep, a lot of tape, a lot of contact paper, and I'm going in and spraying the metal on this one black. So I do not feel bad because this is going to be in my own stash. I gave up my red one that I had for years to resell, so I want it to be something that's going to fit into my decor. Between quite the mixture of 1/2-inch tape, inch tape, 2-inch tape, and some Dollar Tree contact paper, I protected all this wood. Though I know there's going to be pieces and parts that I might have to go in and hand touch, it was well worth my time because I definitely love the wood on this. Now I'm going to go in and sand off the blue right lettering on the wood and then try to sand a little bit more of the wood. But my concern right now really is just to get that blue that does not match my black off. And then, yep, some watered down Waverly Antiquing mixture to the rescue to just tie all this wood together, where I sanded it, and then I'll go over the entire piece trying to blend it all together. I don't mind if it doesn't match completely. I just really wanted that blue lettering to come off. So one of my many trips to Home Depot one day, I don't even remember what I was going in for, but all of a sudden I spied these, and with a sign that said $5. Yeah, guys, these were all $5. So yeah, I may have just got a couple the first time, but then went back the next day and grabbed some more. Can I tell you how excited I am to be able to have real greenery on my front porch at $5 a piece? Wow, that is way cheaper than any fake greenery that I could find. So now my hopes is that the greenery fits inside these. This was not my original plan at all, that I was going to be blessed to find that greenery for $5, but I wanted to wrap some of these tins that I had thrifted. My original plan for this tin was to put some of my fake greenery from my stash that I use year to year on my front porch, but now I had to rethink my whole plan because I had run across those real little trees. So the tin that I have here does not fit. This is the larger lunch sack, the extra large lunch sack. Does not fit it completely. So I'm taking two and cutting them up to wrap it around this tin. But this is the same concept that I ended up using to wrap each one of those little trees. So I just opened them up, and then I'm just going to be hot gluing it right onto that tin itself. I wasn't worried about any labeling because it's all going to be hidden. I'm not going to be worried about the seam side because we'll just put that side to the back. And after getting that part glued on, I'm just going to go ahead and roll the lunch sack down and then tie it off using some jute. Why do I always see all these hacks on a TikTok? I just had to laugh. How you put a little bit of that hot glue on your new glue stick, and then when you put it into your glue gun, it doesn't fall out that way. Why? Where had this been all my life? I'm not really sure if this will help protect them or not, but I'm going to go ahead and do a clear coat on them. Their paper bags are going to be on my front porch. The chances in Michigan of them getting wet in snow, we'll just not touch them and let them dry. But I thought, okay, I'll give it a clear coat to see if that helps. Now, I did that on the tin, but I didn't end up doing it on the trees because I had to wrap it while the tree was already in there, and I didn't want to accidentally spray the tree. Did you all ever think that I'd finally get to my front porch to actually decorate it? So I had taken all my fall stuff off a week ago because, it was not looking so nice. But it made it through Thanksgiving. And so, yep, I'll have to take my father-in-law's birdhouse down that he built for me that I have up all year long. But I love my galvanized. And now I have this wood pile from when we had our bad storms come through. So these are pieces of weeping willow that I thought, oh my goodness. And then I have this tin from that stash, that wonderful gift from Kelly. And I just could not give this bucket up. I just absolutely loved it. So what I'm going to do is put some of these pieces of wood in this tin. Now, I have things around my front door that I like to decorate. So when it comes to the sled, it's always been kind of tucked in this back corner, and I don't really think you can see it. So I'm like, Chris, what can we do to bring this sled out so it's not in this corner that people can... I just spent a lot of time redoing this sled. I want to be able to show it off. So what he came up with a stand was just to drill a hole in a heavy piece of wood. Yes, and put one of my extra shepherd's hooks in it. Look at how that's a perfect fit. And now this should withstand the winds of Michigan and the Michigan winter. So, yep, I just have the hook going right through that piece of wood, just hanging it. This is low enough that the sled itself is still touching the ground. And then here was my motivation to sell my red sled. I was not going to do it at first until when we were out at a antique store when I saw some black skates, because yep, my red sled had white skates with it, so I am selling both. But I was super excited to run across these black skates, and I love that little red Canadian leaf on there. And so I'm going to be attaching my color scheme or my themed bow. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap 5 times around where you're going to be making a bigger bow and then tying it off in the middle. I am not a bow expert. I am just thankful that they created wired ribbon. And as I'm decorating, this is Glenn. He is a rescued cat from my daughter who had lived on the streets for 2 years, so is not very happy that he is not outside helping me decorate. Yep, I went ahead and wrapped every single one of those trees. I was so super, I can't even tell you how I'm excited. I don't think I've had real greenery in the past, but we all know that it is even more expensive than fake greenery. So $5 trees, oh my goodness. And hopefully they will survive and we will try to plant them in the spring. We'll see how it goes. I know that I need to mist them with water, but now I just get to tweak and put all my created finds together. Do you all gather everything up and then you're like, okay, now I have my game plan. Now I need to put it all together. And then I hope that Kelly sees this edition because yes, that is her wagon also. The one thing about living where I live, everything that I put on my front porch, I have to make sure that is wired down, is secure, or I'm going to have to go find it in my yard or my neighbor's yard at one time. So I've learned my lesson to make sure that everything was wired in place. And even this little mailbox, yep, I'm glad that it opens up because I'm going to be sticking 3 rocks in the bottom of it to make sure that it doesn't go flying. Now, Chris is my light guy, so we have icicle lights that light up our front porch, wrap around our door, and then just some simple little snowflakes, one of those ones that you put in the ground towards your house. Just love that falling snow effect. And I don't need a lot of lighting on the front porch because the icicle lights let you see all the decorations even in night. So thank you for helping me decorate my front porch and get ready. I hope I have inspired you in any way to look at thrift store finds, even at the holiday time, that you can make over and redo and make a beautiful place to come home to. So if I don't get to say this to you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and thank you so much for being my gift throughout the year, being part of our YouTube family. And if you're checking out our content for the first time and you liked what you saw and you'd like to become part of our YouTube family, just hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when we've uploaded a new video. In case you were wondering what the little goodie basket was, yes, it's for our delivery drivers that are so gracious and so busy during this holiday season to grab a quick snack if they want one, a quick cold drink, and we do bring it in and out every night to refresh it.